Hi, students. Welcome back to Semester 2 and the continuation of the Use of English program, ENG 1205. In today's first pre-recorded session, we're going to be looking at summarizing and paraphrasing. Now, these words are not entirely new to you. We would have focused on them before, but we're going to look at them again, this time with the intention of helping you to write a cohesive and coherent summary. Now, what is a summary? It says a summary is the brief representation of only the main ideas of the text by using your own words, always without changing the original idea. So, before we go on, even though it says text, remember, you don't always have to summarize a piece of prose writing. You can summarize an audio, video even. But what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're always presenting just the main ideas of that piece. So in doing so, you will not include your opinions or your interpretations of the piece. And of course, your summary will be significantly shorter than the original text, about 1/5, or you'll see later on, 1/3 the length of the original. So what are we looking for when we're checking for your summary writing skills? How well are you able to comprehend the text? And in doing so, you will ensure that you would have read it fully and thoroughly, and that you're able to identify the main ideas and restate this information in your own words so that you're maintaining the original meaning. Once that is done, you're then able to put these information together in a coherent and cohesive manner so that your piece achieves synthesis. In so doing, you're going to make sure that you're using the appropriate transitional and connecting words in order to write a coherent summary. And of course, once you're writing this summary, you're going to make sure that it follows all the conventions of the English grammar. Now, summary writing is an important and advanced academic skill. So naturally, it won't come to you right away. With enough determination and practice, you'll get it. Now, when it comes to summary writing, you're going to hear two terms constantly being used: main ideas and supporting details. So let's look at these. Now, the main ideas are the central or most important idea in the paragraph or in the passage. Usually, it states the purpose and sets the direction of the paragraph or the passage. Now, your main ideas are somewhat similar to the topic sentences or the thesis statement that you may have in your essays that you would have done last semester. So that means your main idea could be stated explicitly, or it may be implied. And we're going to figure out what it is based on the implications by the various bits of information that are included in the writing. Now, the main ideas are often the stars of the paper. So if it's going to be stated, it may be in the first sentence. However, it can be anywhere. It's the star, remember? So in addition to being in the first sentence, it may also find itself again at the end of the paragraph, repeated more than once. And in some cases, your main idea may be split. Just like how your thesis would have your topic and the position on your topic, the main idea in a piece of writing may present itself in a similar manner. So you're going to have a part of it, what it's talking about perhaps, and then the position that it's taking on this particular issue stated at another point within the paragraph or within the passage. So how are you going to actually identify this main idea? It's a very simple equation, basically. Who or what is the paragraph about? What aspect or idea about the who or what is the author concerned with? And there you have it, your main idea. So you put those things together, and it should help you to figure out what this particular paragraph is about, and then on a larger scale, what the entire piece of writing, or if it's an audio that you're listening to, what the entire audio is basically focused on. Now, the other one is the supporting details. No, says supporting details or ideas are information that guide you to a full understanding of the main ideas. It says they clarify, illuminate, explain, describe, and expand on the main idea. Now, these words should already give you a clue as to what a supporting detail may look like. If you think about it for a second, that's right. Things like examples, facts, figures, statistics, anything that helps to give you more information, that helps to get to the meat of the matter and get really in depth. All of those things are considered supporting details. Now, another tip you can use to help you identify them is that often these supporting details would be introduced by transitional words. So, for example, for instance, or such as, whenever you see those appearing, you're about to encounter some additional clarifying and illuminating information. And remember, your summary does not include supporting details. You're only presenting the main ideas of the text. So, to further help you identify these supporting details, you can ask yourself 3 questions. Which details help to further the storyline? Which details help us to better understand the main idea of the passage? And what facts answer questions that may be raised by the main idea? So, in your reading, what additional information helps you to figure out who, what, when, how, or why? If you think about it, identifying the supporting details are going to be pretty easy. They help to really put the meat on the bones, so to speak, of the passage. So, when we're summarizing, always keep in mind what you need to put in and what you need to leave out. And maybe this will help you. Supporting details, explanations, evidence, examples. You don't need to put those in. Your opinions, not yet. Your interpretation, analysis, judgment, still not needed in the summary. But the thesis, the main ideas, and putting all of that in your own words in a coherent and cohesive manner, that's going to get you the summary that you're looking for. So let's practice, shall we? We have here an original text, and then we're going to look at 2 summaries of this text. So let's read the original. It says, social media consists of a variety of communication tools such as blogs, collaborative projects, social networking sites, content communities, and virtual world or virtual game worlds. These channels of this platform are providing unlimited opportunities to communicate, interact, socialize, and share with each other. In the field of IS research, understanding is important as well as a challenging issue. Social media has changed the entire scenario of information sharing. However, it can also be a source of distraction for students. Ali et al., 2016. So let's look now at the first summary of this text. It says, there are many communication tools, such as blogs, social network sites, virtual game worlds, etc. With these channels, you can communicate and interact with others and share information. It is also very important to understand users' behavior for technology acceptance. In addition, technology can cause distraction for students. Let's look at summary number 2. Ali and colleagues, 2016, state that there are many communication tools which contribute communication opportunities such as socializing and sharing. On the other hand, social media can cause distraction to students. Good. Now, what you can do is pause here and look back at these 2 summaries and think to yourself, which one sounds like the better one? So let's see. Summary number 1. It has the same words and phrases from the original text being used. It has a lot of unnecessary information being included, supporting details, examples, and the author of the original text has been omitted. So I think we can all agree that this one is a no. This isn't the summary that you want to write. Summary number 2, it has different vocabulary from the original. Only the main aspects of the paragraph are included, and it has the appropriate citations. So summary number 2, this is the one you want. This is basically perfect. Now, you can, during the webinar rather, we're going to look at some more examples of pieces and extracts of writing, and we're going to practice our summary writing skills. Now, when you are writing your summaries on your own, what you can do is use this checklist to help you and guide you to ensure that you're doing the right things. So for instance, you're going to ask yourself these questions. Did you mention the author and the title of the original piece that you're summarizing? Did you identify the main idea at the beginning of your summary? So have you stated the thesis of the piece, basically? Did you include all the important points or all the main ideas, the major details? Did you leave out the unnecessary details, those examples, those statistics, perhaps? Did you write the ideas in the order in which they appeared in the article? So, is it still in keeping with the author's original idea? Therefore, did you keep the author's same meaning? Did you use your own words? Were you able to show that you truly comprehended and you understood what you read by putting this information in your own words? Is it grammatical? Did you check to ensure that you've used good English grammar? Are you following all the necessary conventions of the grammar? Have you used transitional words to ensure coherence and cohesion? Does your summary sound like if you're just listing points, or does it actually sound like a piece of writing that belongs together? Did you use citations to express or reference the author's ideas if you needed to? And not only did you use citations, did you do that correctly, following the appropriate APA guidelines? Then, is it about 1/3 to 1/5 the length of the original? So it should be shorter, like we said. And then, of course, is it within the prescribed word limit? If it is within the word limit, then you're pretty good to go. If you're over, you probably have some unnecessary information in there. And if you're under, you probably left out a few things. So once you're able to check yes to all of these boxes, pretty sure that you have a spot on and perfect summary on your hands. Whatever you may have checked no to, just go back and edit it and revise it. You can always do that. Now, another part of the summary writing process is this idea of paraphrasing. Now, it says paraphrasing means changing the wording of a text so that it is significantly different from the original source without changing the meaning. Now, it's important that you don't confuse paraphrasing and summary writing, or summarizing rather, but we'll get to that in a bit. So, just like summarizing, effective paraphrasing is also a key academic skill. It's something that will take some time, but again, you'll get it. So, an effective paraphrase is going to have a different structure from the original. It's going to use different vocabulary. It will maintain the original meaning, and it will keep key phrases from the original that may be in common use. When it comes to paraphrasing, you cannot change all the words. Some things have to remain the same, and that's quite all right. But where you can, you're going to want to make those changes in order to have an effective paraphrase. So let's look at a few strategies that you can use in order to paraphrase effectively. Now, the first one would be changing the vocabulary of itself. So in cases where you have the writer using certain words or certain expressions and phrases, you can find an appropriate synonymous word or synonymous phrase. So, for example, argues can be replaced with claims. Digital natives can be used to replace people who grew up using technology. Wages can be used instead of salaries. Economize can be used instead of the word save. And as it says, you don't need to attempt to paraphrase every word. Some words perhaps cannot be changed. Some words don't need to be changed. Where you can, go ahead and do that. But be careful when you're changing words and you're using synonyms that the synonym you select is appropriate and it does not convey a different meaning and change what the author has originally said. Now, another thing you can do is changing the word class or change the part of speech of a particular word. So, for example, the word explanation can become the verb explain, mechanical can become mechanize, profitable can become profitability, marriage can become marry. We have an example here. It says, it is difficult to mechanize the process. We can change that and say, mechanization of the procedure is challenging. Using machines in this process is not easy, or mechanizing the process is not simple. There, we've changed the word mechanize, we've changed the word process, we've changed the expression it is difficult to suitable and appropriate synonymous words and phrases. All of these are things you can do when you're paraphrasing. Additionally, you can change the word order. So the original says, the best explanation for the British location of the Industrial Revolution is found by studying demand factors. If we change around those words, we say, a focus on demand may help explain the UK origin of the Industrial Revolution. The same information is being conveyed, but we will change the order and the structure of the sentence, but like I said, we keep the same bit of information. So here you have two pieces of writing that you are going to practice paraphrasing, not summarizing, paraphrasing. So that means you're going to use back all the information here, but you're going to put it into your own words. You're going to follow the techniques and the strategies that we would have looked at just a minute ago. Change the word order, change the part of speech, find synonyms if you must. And when you come to the webinar, we're going to look at these two examples and we're going to come up and we're going to see rather some of the paraphrases that you came up with. And we may even come up with some new ones. Now, let's look at summarizing as opposed to paraphrasing. Now, not to be confused, a summary presents all the main ideas of a text, and it's often significantly shorter than the original piece. Whereas a paraphrase is usually about the same length of the original text, but it rewords or rephrases all of the original text. So essentially, paraphrasing is a technique that we will use within summarizing, because when you're presenting those main ideas in your own words, you're going to be paraphrasing them. So additionally, a summary, the ideas are often carefully synthesized into one or two coherent paragraphs or more, depending on how long the piece of writing is, and you're using transitional words appropriately. Whereas with the paraphrase, you change the structure of the sentences, you can change the order of the words or phrases, and you're also changing the vocabulary. With a summary, all of the supporting information, the examples, the statistics, all of those are left out. Whereas with the paraphrase, all of that needs to be included. So therefore, looking at these 6 things that we just mentioned, we can therefore come to the logical conclusion that if we're going to summarize, it's often going to be a longer piece of literature, whereas a paraphrase would be for shorter pieces of literature. Hence, paraphrasing is a technique that we use within summarizing. You may paraphrase a few sentences from the original text or the main ideas, but you won't paraphrase the entire text. You will write a summary of it, presenting just the main ideas. So, in concluding, a few things to keep in mind when you're going to be doing your summarizing. Ensure that you read or listen to the original piece and that you fully understand the main ideas. Identify the thesis idea or the theme, whether it's explicitly stated or it's implied. Identify the key points or the main ideas from every paragraph. So each paragraph should have a main idea. Now, what's important to remember here as well is that some paragraphs may just provide you with supporting details and further illuminating information. In those cases, there would be no main idea for you to pull out. It would just be presenting information in support of something that was already stated or that will be stated. So don't worry about those. Then, once you would have identified these main ideas, combine them in your own words. So this is where your paraphrasing comes in. Once you have these ideas in your own words, put them together in a coherent manner. Use your transitional words and transitional phrases to synthesize the information into cohesive paragraphs. Once that is done, revise and edit. Make sure that the original information is clearly reflected in your summary. Use your checklist. Edit, take out, put in, do whatever you need to do. Make sure that you did not include your opinion or maybe any additional information or background knowledge that you may possess on the topic. If you did include any words from the original author, make sure that they are cited appropriately. And once all of that is done, check your word count. Again, if you go too much over, you probably have some unnecessary information in there. And if you're too far under, then you've probably left out some important details. Follow all these steps and you should have a good summary on your hands. Thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to the university. Welcome to semester 2. I look forward to meeting you later on in the webinar so that we can further discuss and answer any questions that you may have. Goodbye, and thank you for listening.